Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I am a teacher at East High School, home of the mighty Mustangs. These are my parents, Herbert and Joyce King. These are my first teachers. They taught me how to live a moral life, and they taught me how to make good decisions. Even at a young age, I know that's not a good picture, that's okay, of me, that is. Even at a young age, they decided to get married, and they had 5 children, but both of my parents are college educated. So this gave me no excuse as to why I could not be successful. That is me again. And at 3 years old, I did not know what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I knew that I would be someone great. This is a picture of my high school, East High School, at 3206 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Tennessee. When I arrived at this school in the 7th grade in 1990, East was one of the most envied schools. This school had high curriculum, high standards, great in 3 A's, academics, athletics, and arts. My mom actually stood in line at 6 o'clock in the morning just for me to attend this school. So you know that this was a great school. Now these are pictures of me when I attended East High School. And the reason that I chose these pictures are because my students are students at East High School. And today, I am a successful educator. So I use these pictures to show them that I've been where you've been. I've walked the streets that you've walked. I've endured those problems that you have. I've gone through the peer pressure. I've gone through the gang violence. I watched friends die from gunshot wounds. No excuses. So by them knowing that I am a Mustang, that when I see you, I see myself, it eliminates a lot of excuses for them. These are some of my most influential teachers. These teachers were there for me. They actually mentored me, and they just carried me all along my way as I went throughout life. These are the teachers who actually talked me into coming back to East High School to be a teacher. When I graduated from East High School, if you would look at these demographics, the population was high for that particular school. The ACT was fairly good. Free and reduced lunch was not as high. African American input was 85, white 10, and other 5. Now look at it when I came back. The ACT score dropped tremendously. Free and reduced lunch went up. African American students, 98%, and white and other 2. And what this showed is not so much the race that made these ACT scores go down, it was the quality of the student. It just so happened that these students were African American. What do I need to do? As Meah King, an alumni of East High School, the great East High School, home of the mighty Mustangs, what is it that I should do? In 2002, I returned to my alma mater to teach high school English. Now, during my first few years, everybody knows how this goes. Things were great. I became the assistant basketball coach, assistant volleyball coach, assistant softball coach. I ran the after-school program, and my students were doing excellent. So I am the teacher, so I thought, until 2008. In 2008, my state standards changed, and I thought that I was still doing a great job. They're still learning. But I never thought in a million years that my students would score 35% on the proficient advanced category on the test. How did I feel? Oh, yes. This is how I felt. I was frustrated. Is this my calling? Is this where I'm supposed to be? As a teacher, students are supposed to learn. What am I not doing? So the first thing I did was I went back to the drawing board and I asked myself, did I motivate my students this year? I must didn't. So the first thing I decided to do was to teach them a motivational chant. And the motivational chant, repeat after me. I can do anything.
I can do anything.
No, you have to say it like I say it. Here we go. I can do anything.
I can do anything.
I can do anything.
I can do anything.
All I have to do is try.
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 So they have to say that at the beginning of every class, period. And it was something that I learned from the Gates Foundation on last year. Irvin Scott actually got up last year. And it's a little song that I sing at the beginning of each class. And it goes something like this. I got a feeling that I'm making a difference in kids' lives. That I'm making a difference in kids' lives. That I'm making a difference in kids' lives. Oh, they hate that. They hate that. So the second thing that I use to motivate them, I talk about the accomplishments of a Mustang. I'm not talking from someone who came from somewhere else. This is someone who walked the halls that you're walking, who sat in that seat that you're sitting in. So I show them my accolades. And it's not for bragging rights, but to show them you can be something great. You can be someone who make your life count. So I changed my teaching strategies. I first looked at my students, and then I looked at myself. And teachers, that's something that we have to do. We have to go back and look at ourselves. So what I did was I took a survey and asked the students, what is it that you all like? You don't like to learn? You don't like anything. What do you like? And their answers were music, entertainment, and sports. So the philosophy that I came up with, which is somewhat like a scripture of my own, whatever one has a passion for, he or she is good at it. Now, if you close your eyes and think about something that you really like, and don't say it out loud, but you know that you're good at it. My solution, I must initiate, instill, and ignite the likes to passions as I impart learning strategies. So this is one thing that I struggle with my students with, direct and indirect objects. So the first thing I do is I tell them the definitions of direct and indirect objects. And after that, this is just one of the ways that I complement their learning styles. So after I tell them what a direct and an indirect object is, I make it simple. And I tell them the first thing you must find is the action verb. So I ask you that. What's the first thing you must find? The action verb. All right. After you find the action verb, when you're looking for your direct object, you ask the questions whom and what. What questions do you ask? Whom and what. When you're looking for a direct object, the first thing you must find is an action verb. What's the first thing you must find when you're looking for your indirect object? And after you find your action verb, you ask the question, to whom for whom, to what for what. What questions do you ask for indirect object? To whom for whom, to what for what. All right, go with me for a minute. Just clap with me. We are learning direct and indirect objects. The first thing you must find is your, oh, come on. The first thing you must find is your, good. You got to find your, good. Looking for direct. Whom, what, direct? Direct. Direct. Indirect. To whom for whom? To what for what? Indirect. The first thing you must find is your, good. You got to find your, all right, let's try one more time. Direct. Direct. Whom, what? Direct. Direct. Indirect. Good. So this is how class goes. And after that, I will simply give them an example where they find that action verb. And you should see them, they're looking at it. But just from that one assessment, 85% of them get it right. So teachers, sometimes we have to step outside of ourselves and not teach the way that we want to teach, but teach the way that the students learn. So when I started doing all this extra teaching, in 2010, 2011, I went from 35% to 62%. Not bad. 2011, 2012, my students scored 75% proficient advanced on the state standardized test. Now, if you look down at 2012, 2013, I have finger points, I have a four-leaf clover, and I'm looking for 90% this year. So the last thing that I want to discuss, the last strategy that I want to discuss, is the fact that my students love writing poetry, and it all derives from music. If you all know it, the students learn from music. So I take it and I implement those concepts that I'm trying to cover in class. So if you're looking at the assignment, it says, write a poem about your dream implementing the following literary devices: simile, metaphor, onomatopoeia, alliteration, a sonnet, allusion, personification. This is a poem from one of my dear students. You know, I'm supposed to have a favorite, right? One of my dear students, and it says, what I want to be in my future isn't my dream, but a goal. Only I can choose. No one is putting their ballots in a poll. Robert is the name of a future successor. Silently climbing to the top, you can say I'm like a suppressor. Bang, shoot, and score the opportunity to make my life better, keeping my sanity and heart warm as a sweater. I'm already good, but my goal will make me better. A secret CIA agent. My fake girl's name is Heather. Extinct to the globe, but I'm no dinosaur. My life is reality. It's not on Jersey Shore. Raining golf and tennis balls, why would I ask for more? Telling, talking, and taking opportunities through every open door. Yes, I'm an adventurer. Like Dora, I love to explore. The moon told the earth, Robert has a lot in store. A surviving believer is who is striving for the best. I'll be in Forbes magazine. I'll be able to say I made it with my chest. I have a long journey on my challenging quest, preventing haters from attacking my heart. My courage is my bulletproof vest. Regardless of coming from a single-parent home, that's no excuse. Being captive of my environment or bad choices, oh, I totally refuse. My boost is to remember the lessons in English, especially the ones about life from Miss King. This will be my reality, not just a poem, but it all started with a dream. So teachers, as we continue to fight this epidemic of academic atrophy, please remember, real teaching is when scholars internalize and exhibit learning. The cure is preparation, motivation, perspiration, resulting in the students' inspiration. We must be the model catalyst for lifelong learning. Thank you.